since I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
I was big league dream.
I was big league dream.
For as long as I live,
Always.
I'm big league dreaming.
I never got to bat in the major leagues. I'd have liked to have that chance, just once. To stare down a big league pitcher. Make him think you know something he doesn't. A chance to squint at a sky so blue that it hurts your eyes just to look at. To feel the tingle in your arm as you connect with the ball. To run the bases, stretch a double into a triple, and flop face first. Wrap your arms around the bag. That's my wish, Rick and Silla.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Big League Dreaming podcast. It is wonderful to have you here. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about fall baseball in the college baseball world, how fall ball works, a little bit of a inside scoop on a glimpse from behind the scenes a little bit from the NAIA level. Today, our guest is Zane Gonzalez, the youngest of the three boys. I'm Zach Gonzalez, the oldest of the three. Ty's the middle one. No dad on today's podcast. He's normally leading the charge for the podcast, but we gave him the night off. So Zane, good to have you here. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Just got in about an hour ago from practice and got the laundry going, so it's perfect timing.
Awesome. Good to talk to you. So yes, fall baseball. It's here. Colleges are getting revved up. They have all their guys coming out. Take us a little bit behind the scenes. You're obviously the pitching coach at Indiana University at South Bend, an NAIA school there. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have going on right now.
Yeah, so this is actually our first week, and we started up. We're recording this on a Thursday. We started up Tuesday, so we're only 3 days in. Guys came back to class on August 23rd. So what we like to do here is we like to give them that first week of school just to go to school, right? We don't want to overload them right at the beginning. Like, hey, all right, right out the gate, guys, we're going school, lifts, practice. We like to give them that first week to just really get acclimated. It's overwhelming for a lot of the new guys to just even find their classes, right? So that's kind of what we do that first week. And then, we kind of did have some COVID stuff pop up that kind of set us back a week where we couldn't get started till after Labor Day, but it is what it is. I mean, got to roll with it. I mean, we dealt with it all last year, so it's nothing new. Just roll with the punches and adjust. So right now we're just getting started up. What we're doing this first week of practice is, we're doing split practices. So we're doing pitchers and catchers for an hour and a half. Then the infielders, outfielders come for an hour and a half. That way we really have that time where there's not that much going on at the field other than like that position group. So each coach can take their position and really intro how we do things, our philosophies, everything we do, top to bottom as a program. So that way you don't have those distractions going on. Like, I'm not talking to the pitchers in right field, but we got to worry about BP and not getting smoked, So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. And then throughout the week, we've been, what we do here, which I actually like a lot, is we have an intro meeting. So, you hear a lot of times, at the end of the fall, you'll have an exit meeting with your coach of kind of where you're at and where they see you going into the spring. So we do an intro meeting as well, which kind of gives us kind of a grasp on where each kid is at. It's nice. It's a good conversation with the guys. Hey, how's classes going? Is everything good so far? How many credits you taking? Just a lot of that smaller stuff. And then we really dive into, them on the baseball side as well, and kind of just pretty much talk and, get to know each other. And it's a good start.
Yeah, that's great. I really like that idea of doing the intro meetings. When I played, I can't recall if we did intro meetings, but we did a lot of one-on-one with our pitching coach because I was a pitcher. And then obviously things with our head coach before the break. Talk to us a little bit about how different it is between junior college and then a four-year school for fall ball. Because you and I, we both pitched at the junior college level. We went through it. And then you and I both pitched at the NAIA level, and it's completely different. And we can talk a little bit about the NCAA side, D1, D2, because they're different as well. But what are some of the biggest differences of fall baseball between JUCO and four-year schools?
Shoot, I mean, JUCO, you're playing like a full season in the fall. Like JUCO, you're going out there every weekend. You're either at a showcase, you're playing inter squads or against other schools every single week, every weekend for 2.5 straight months. Like I get sent schedules from junior colleges all the time, and I always count it up because I love to see how much they're playing. And right now it's like at least 20 to 25 games that they have on their schedule just for the fall. So like, I mean, the big difference between junior college and us is those kids are obviously trying to get in front of schools like us that are four-year schools so they can move on once they're done with their 2 years at a junior college. Mm-hmm. So whereas kids that are here, they're going to be here for 4 years, at least we hope, So I think that's the big difference is at junior college, it's, hey, get going right away. You better come in ready to go and ready to showcase your stuff in front of schools. Whereas here, we have a little bit more time to, okay, you didn't come in ready. One, hey, we got to get going. But two, we have a lot of time to build you up and ease into it. It's not a race to get you in front of schools because we're the only school here.
Right. And I think that's one of my favorite things about junior college baseball is that excuse me, is that these kids can go out and just play right away and get that experience, get some games under their belt, let them feel out college baseball immediately. And especially for the kids that can't contribute right away as a freshman at a four-year school, it lets them play right away in an environment where they are playing meaningful games, even in the fall, right? So
yeah,
I'm always a big advocate for athletes going the JUCO route. If you still need to fill out, get bigger, better, stronger, need to grow up a little bit more and gain some experience before going on to that four-year school. You get to save a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And you get to, like I said, play meaningful games and gain experience before transferring to a larger school. Talk to me a little bit about some things that you guys are doing as far as like goals and stuff. Like, I'm sure you guys have team goals and personal goals. What is that like? Because I'm sure I know for us it was when I was playing college baseball and coaching college baseball. Like we focused a lot of goal setting in the fall, and then you kind of transition into the spring and keep it rolling from there. What do you guys like to do at South Bend?
Well, for us, I mean, I think we're a little bit different in the sense we use the fall as like a huge, not just we use it as an evaluation period. I mean, I feel like every school does that, but it's also an acclimation period where everyone's, at junior colleges, those kids got to get to know each other right away. They got to get to know how to play with each other right away. Whereas us, our main thing is we're learning each other. We're learning the team, we're learning the camaraderie, we're learning the chemistry. And I think everything we do is just constantly shifting with how our team is. Because, I mean, we can come in and say, hey, this is our goal from day one. But, what if we say, hey, our goal as a team in the spring is to hit, 50 bombs or something, whatever it is. But like, what if as the fall goes on, we realize we're not a home run hitting team, but now we just set a goal of hitting home runs. So now we're leading them down a path of trying to hit bombs, but really they're just going to hit flyouts. So I think for us, it's just a big, try and get an understanding of who we are as a team, because every year each team's different. Last year's team's different than this year's team. Last year's team didn't have that much experience. This year's team will. So hopefully we can be a lot more mature. I think that's kind of the route we're hoping for this year is, we have a lot more vocal leadership and maturity from the guys that are coming back. So I think just for us, we don't really set a lot of goals as far as a team. We kind of just try and get to know each other and find out how to play together. That's our main objective in the fall.
And try to get better every day, basically.
Oh yeah, always. I mean, I'm getting, it's funny that we were talking about junior colleges. I'm actually going to a junior college showcase tomorrow morning. So, our guy, it's in Indy, so it's the Puma Classic. So a lot of the Midwest JUCOs will be there, which is perfect for us. Like we recruit heavily in the Midwest and junior colleges, but we practice at 11 tomorrow, so I won't be there. So on our practice plan, it talks about, like it says, hold each other accountable. So tomorrow is going to be a big test. It's only day 4 in, and I'm going to come back and find out how it went and really hear who kind of emerged as a leader.
I like it. Wow, Puma Classic. I know that'll be really fun for you to see some potential future Titans for your school. And would you say that you guys do more recruiting in the fall then than in the spring because it's in the middle of your season? Is that normal for most schools?
I think for us, a lot of it is done in the fall and winter. But I mean, we're constantly recruiting. I mean, we're constantly reaching out, watching video, getting a hold of kids.
Yeah.
But the majority of it gets done in the fall and winter. Like fall and winter is when we have a lot of our visits. We'll go to JUCO showcases. We'll have a prospect camp here, try and get kids, and it's when we do a lot of our visits, because in the spring our schedule is so hectic that it's so hard to even fit a kid in that late for a visit.
Yeah.
So I think for us, I mean, especially this past year, we went super JUCO heavy in our recruiting. Like we have 19 new guys and only 3 of them are true freshmen. So, that's for us last year, it was all fall and winter. So, I mean, this year might be a little bit different where we'll have a little bit, like we spent a lot of time this summer on the recruiting trail out at tournaments in Chicago and Michigan and Indianapolis. So I think it just kind of varies on what each school is looking for. I mean,
right.
like I said, for us, we needed experience coming into this year. So that's why we went out and got a bunch of junior college kids, because we know, one, they played a whole fall schedule, a whole spring schedule. They did it twice. Some of them even 3 times because of the COVID year. Right. So some of these kids have 3 years of college under their belt, but they're coming to us ready to go. So exactly. I think it just depends on each school, each program, what their, I guess, what they need. That's what it all comes down to, is need. Because once you got super upperclassmen heavy, you're gonna start going after high school kids, and then the following year go after JUCOs. I think it just flip-flops every year, and it depends on the program.
Exactly. With excuse me. So, but with that being said, depending on what the school needs, they want to go for more high school or go for more JUCO. I think you said it perfectly in that the spring is so heavy. You guys do most of your recruiting over summer, fall, and winter. So with that being said, for the high school kids, I guess what kind of advice would you have for the high school kids to be seen in the fall? Because if they wait until the springtime, I'm going to wait until spring comes around, my junior year, I'll be on varsity, I'll be seen by coaches then. At that point, it's probably too late, because those juniors were already on college campuses and in the fall doing their visits because they've already been looked at and seen. What what is some advice that you would give to high school kids on when's the best time to be seen?
I mean, the best time to be seen is one through an email. Like, believe it or not, like, I'm sitting here and my emails in front of me, and I got at least 15 unread emails from kids that are saying, hey, I'm uncommitted, I'm yada, yada, yada. This is my GPA. So for me, a lot of it starts with the emails that I get from kids. You know, kids reaching out to me. And then another way is go to camps. You know, you don't have to go, if you're really, really interested in a school, or a school is really, really interested in you, go to their camp, right? See how, that way you can get on that field, see what it's like. That way you can get around those coaches, see how they are. Because me and you both know that when you come on a visit, it's a little bit different than when you're on a diamond with someone. You know?
Yeah.
The language is different. The vibe is just completely different. Like, sometimes visits just get a little too formal. At least sometimes here. I try and keep visits as loose and light as possible, just because I know some kids just kind of freak out a little bit. They get so nervous, like, hey, you got any questions? No, I don't. No, come prepared, ask some questions, like, stay loose, like, ask me anything, man. Ask me how the food is at the cafeteria. Ask me where the nearest McDonald's is. I don't know. But I mean, going back to the question of when's the best time to get seen is, you know, reach out to schools that you are interested. But then on top of that, try and find someone that's going to be seriously honest with you on what level you're seriously destined for at the moment. You know, are you a kid that needs to go to a Juco for a couple of years to get stronger, to maybe you struggle in the classroom a little bit. Maybe you need to go to a junior college to have someone stay on top of you in your academics and get your GPA up. So then when you transfer, you can get academic money on top of it. So I think finding someone that's going to be extremely honest with you is huge, because once you find that person that's going to tell you, hey man, like, you're a D2 guy, then you can go after every D2. You can start blasting emails, D2. And then who knows, maybe you're playing in the summer and a D1 sees you. Right. So I think that's the biggest thing is, and I don't think this happens enough, is getting a good support system, someone you trust, someone that has a great feel for college, and they're going to tell you straight up, this is what level I see you at right now.
I love that. I think that's really important. That's some really great advice. You know, somebody that can kind of be a mentor for you, that knows the game, that knows the different levels, that's you know, not someone that's seen you, right? Who's seen you play recently, who knows kind of what level you're at, not someone that coached you in Little League who's now saying, oh yeah, you can definitely get out of a small D1 somewhere.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I think that's really great advice, Zane. And it's kind of mind-blowing now that it all starts with an email, which, I mean, it makes sense the way the world's going now with all of the capabilities we have. I mean, we're doing this over Zoom right now, completely different states.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But I mean, I remember with the dad creating DVDs of me pitching and mailing them to schools. That's what I did. But I mean, we did a bunch of crazy stuff. We were at showcases all the time, just trying to get in front of coaches. So it's always changing. It's very cool. I won't take up too much of your time tonight, Zane. I know you got a lot going on with your emails and getting back to kids and all that. Is there anything you want to wrap up today's conversation about fall balls, about your school specifically, or just about the game in general? I know it always cracks me up because I feel like a lot of people don't know fall ball is a thing for like people that aren't super into baseball like we are. Especially in junior college, being like, oh yeah, we're going to this showcase. We're going to play at Michigan State this weekend, and the showcase there is like, you guys are playing baseball right now? It's October. It's like, yeah, it's fall ball. There's fall baseball. Um, it's pretty funny. So it's definitely a topic I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, to give our listeners some behind the scenes on how fall ball goes in college. But like I said, is there anything you want to wrap up today with?
I mean, to kind of piggy off the advice thing, you know, for high school kids that are going through the recruiting process, now is actually a really, really hard time because, junior colleges, those kids have been granted extra years of eligibility. So there's kind of a backlog in the recruiting right now. So those kids that are going through that, right now is just a very, very weird time. So the one thing I would say is just be patient. Like, don't let this completely, you can't stress over this nonstop, right? Whatever is meant to be will be at the end of the day, but there's always schools looking, always. And don't think that we're an NAIA school, right? We're not a big time Power 5 D1. So, I mean, if you were to come to our school, don't think you would be settling, because there's so many great opportunities across all levels of college baseball. There's Jucos with incredible facilities. We have great facilities here for an NAIA school. There's incredible facilities all over the country, and there's incredible coaches all over the country. So, I mean, my biggest advice is don't just chase after the title, right? Don't chase after, I want to play D1, I want to play D2. Chase after somewhere where you fit and somewhere where you're going to have a legitimate shot to play. Because there's nothing worse than chasing D1, chasing D1, chasing D1. You get a preferred walk-on spot, and then you sit for 2-3 years, maybe get a shot your fourth year. Because I've met so many guys that have been like, man, I wish I would have went back and, gone to that D2, or I liked that place better, but I wanted to go D1. There's so many people out there that are going to tell you those stories of the regrets of wishing they hadn't chased, super extreme dreams. I mean, it's great to chase your dreams, but that's why I said, make sure you have someone that's going to be extremely honest with you.
And those stories are very common compared to the very rare stories that you hear about, a walk-on at D1 wherever is now playing in the College World Series. He was a walk-on. Those stories get blown up, right? Because they never happen. Right. And it's like, oh my gosh, he was a walk-on. If he was a walk-on, I could do it. But you don't hear about the stories of all the people who did walk on and never really saw the field, or who attempted to walk on and they got on their freshman year and they didn't play, and then their sophomore, junior, senior year, they didn't even make the team.
Right.
And there's a lot of those stories out there as well. Also, I want to mention, going over finding the school that fits you best, definitely check out the level of baseball. Go to a game, go see a D2 game and look at yourself in the eye and be like, can I play at this level? Go see an NAIA game and be blown away at the level of baseball is being played among all the different levels out there. It's very impressive. You go to a Juco game and you're like, man, these guys are really good. That's another thing that's a bit of an eye opener for those high school kids who have never really gone to an NAIA game before, to see what those guys can do.
If you think about it, it might be hard. You think it's hard to get to a game. Shoot, man, every game's streamed nowadays. Every game. You can watch. You can pull up games from pretty much any school in the country right now. So watch some of those games. I mean, your colleges, we start up so early. We start up way earlier than high school.
Yeah.
like go try and catch some of those games before your high school season starts up. Like that's great. That's a great point. I mean, really go and watch a game. Cause I remember when I was getting recruited by Kalamazoo Valley, like I went and watched a practice and I was like, man, this is intense. This is super high energy and this is awesome. Like I would love to be here.
Yep. Totally agree. Well, like I said, Zane, I'm not going to keep you too late. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for everything. Whenever you have time to hop on a podcast, just let us know. We got some good stuff lined up in the future here over the next couple months. Playoff baseball is coming soon, so we're all excited about that in the Gonzalez household. Thank you again to everyone for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you ever have any questions or recommendations, somebody we should interview or topics you want to hear on the podcast, you can definitely reach out to us at our email and our Twitter. So Ty, if you could take us away and give everyone the information on how to reach out to us, you got it, man. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, it's Ty from Big League Dreaming Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at BLD Pod. That is at BLD POD. And we're also on TikTok now as well. So give us a follow at Big League Dreaming. We'd love to connect with you.